Good evening. My name is Mr. Harris. For more than 20 years, I worked as director of a group home for children. I'm retired now, but some faces, some voices, they never let you go. Today, I want to tell you about Emma. The first thing I heard about her was at 11:30 at night. I was walking down the hallway, checking if all the children were asleep, and suddenly, a voice, quiet but clear. A girl was reading aloud. Harry Potter opened his eyes and saw greenish water. I stopped by the door of room number 7. Emma Grayson, 12 years old, had been living with us for 2 weeks already. A quiet child. Barely spoke to other children. Barely spoke to me. And now she was reading to someone out loud at 11:30. I pressed my ear to the door, tried to understand who she was talking to. Maybe her roommate Jessica wasn't sleeping? But I didn't hear Jessica's voice, only Emma. And then he saw the mermaids. Her voice was calm, even gentle, like a mother reading a bedtime story. But who was she reading to? I quietly opened the door a few inches, looked inside. Jessica was sleeping, sound asleep, turned toward the wall. And Emma was sitting on her bed, holding a book, reading into emptiness. I didn't understand. At first I thought, maybe she's talking to herself. We had many children who did such strange things, after trauma, after what happened to them at home. But something in her voice, something in the way she paused, how she waited, as if someone was answering her, as if someone was really there. I closed the door and walked on, thought tomorrow I'll talk to her. But the next night, I heard that voice again. Now, chapter 3. And again the next night. And the next. Every night, exactly at 11:30, Emma was reading to someone I couldn't see. The next day, I decided to talk to Emma. I found her in the library. She was sitting in a corner, reading that same Harry Potter book. Her hair was reddish, curly, always braided in 2 pigtails. On her nose, big glasses that constantly slipped down. "Emma," I said quietly, "may I sit down?" She looked at me, nodded, said nothing. I sat down next to her, tried to figure out how to start the conversation. It's always hard with children, especially with those who don't tell you anything about themselves. "Interesting book?" I asked. She nodded again. "Do you like reading aloud?" Here she stopped turning pages, looked at me through those big glasses. "Sometimes," she said, the first words I'd heard from her in 2 weeks. "Who do you read to?" I asked. Long pause. Emma closed the book, put it on her lap. But I knew that wasn't true. There was something in her voice, some sadness, some longing. "Emma, if you want to talk to someone—" "I have no one to talk to," she interrupted. And she stood up, took the book, walked away. I remained sitting in the library, thinking about what she said. I have no one to talk to. But she was reading to someone every night. That evening I decided to learn more. I talked with Emma's social worker, Lisa Cole. She came at 7. We sat in my office. "Tell me about Emma," I asked. Lisa opened a folder, started reading. Emma Grayson, 12 years old, mother died a year ago from cancer, father unknown, lived with grandmother. Then grandmother also died, 3 months ago. I listened and thought about that girl in the library. Is there anyone else? Relatives? Younger brother, Daniel, 8 years old. I perked up. Where is he? In another group home, across town, Northside Children's Home. Why aren't they together? Lisa sighed. We didn't have room for 2, and Northside doesn't take girls over 10. I leaned back in my chair, started to understand. Are they close? Very. Emma took care of him after their mother's death, basically became his mother. When they were separated, Lisa fell silent. She didn't speak for 3 days. Now many things were becoming clear. Do they see each other? Once a week, on Saturday, for 2 hours. I looked at the calendar. Today was Wednesday. And between visits, nothing. Children don't have phones. Letters. Well, Daniel is only 8. He can't write long letters. I understood. Finally understood who Emma was reading to every night. That night, I came to room number 7 again. But this time, I knew who to listen for. Daniel, do you remember this part? Emma was saying quietly. About the tournament? You said you wanted to be as strong as Harry. Pause. Long pause. I miss you too, she continued, every minute. My heart clenched. I stood behind the door and listened as a 12-year-old girl talked to her brother, who was 10 miles away. Today at school, there was a math lesson, she told him. You wouldn't have liked it. Lots of division. Remember how we used to do homework together? You always got confused with numbers. Another pause, as if she was really waiting for an answer. No, I didn't forget about your toy car. It's in my backpack. I carry it everywhere. I almost cried. Just stood in the dark hallway and listened to the saddest story I'd ever heard. Listen to more, Emma said. Now comes the best part. And she continued reading. The next morning, I went to Emma's room. She was packing things in her backpack, getting ready for school. Emma, I said, can we talk? She tensed up, probably thought I'd found out something about the nighttime reading. I didn't do anything wrong, she said quickly. I know. You're a very good girl. I sat on the bed next to her. Tell me about Daniel. Her eyes immediately filled with tears, but she wiped them with her sleeve. He's my brother, she said simply. I know. Do you miss him? She nodded, didn't trust her voice. Tell me about him. What's he like? Emma looked at me, trying to figure out if she could trust me. He's little, she said finally. And he's afraid of the dark. And he doesn't like vegetables. And he always forgets to brush his teeth. She spoke faster and faster. And he cries when he watches sad cartoons. And he collects stones. He has a whole box of stones. And he thinks I forgot him. She said the last sentence in a whisper. Why does he think that? Because I can't call him, can't write letters every day, can only see him on Saturdays. She wiped her nose. And he's so little. He doesn't understand why we're not together. I took her hand. Emma, What if I told you I know a way? She looked at me with hope. What way? A way to be with him more often. Not physically, but differently. She didn't understand, but a spark appeared in her eyes. You read to him, don't you? I said quietly. Emma froze. Her face turned red. It's not bad, I said quickly. It's beautiful. You care about him, even when he's far away. Long pause. Do you think it's silly? She asked. I think it's the best thing you can do for a younger brother. That same day, I called Northside Children's Home, spoke with the director, Marion Stone. I'd known her for many years. Marion, I have a question about one of your boys, Daniel Grayson. Ah, Daniel, she said. Quiet little one. Very sad. Constantly asks about his sister. Tell me about him. He barely talks to other children, sits in corners, draws, or just stares out the window. Every Saturday he asks if Emma is coming soon. My heart clenched again. What does he do in the evenings, before bed? Cries, Marion said directly. Every night, quietly, so no one hears. But we hear. I closed my eyes, imagined a little boy crying in a dark room, and his sister 10 miles away, reading him stories into emptiness. Marion, I have an idea. The next day, I drove to Northside, took a small tape recorder with me, old, but working. I went to Daniel's room. He was sitting on the floor, building something with blocks. A small boy with light brown hair, looked like Emma, but thinner, more fragile. Hi, Daniel, I said. He looked at me, said nothing. I'm a friend of your sister. His eyes immediately lit up. You know Emma? Yes, and I know she misses you very much. He dropped the blocks, ran to me. Is she okay? Is she eating? Is she crying? So many questions from an 8-year-old boy. So much worry. She's fine, but she misses you, just like you do. I sat down next to him. Daniel, I want to show you something. I took out the cassette player, placed it gently on the bed. What is that? He asked. It's a way to hear Emma's voice every night. His eyes widened. Really? Emma will record stories for you. You can listen to them before bed. Daniel looked at the cassette player like it was a miracle. And I can reply to her? Yes, you can record messages for her too. He cried, but these were tears of joy. When? When will I hear her voice? That evening I talked to Emma, told her about the plan, about the cassette player, about how Daniel would hear her voice every night. At first, she didn't believe it. Really? He'll be able to hear me? Yes, and you'll be able to hear him. Emma cried. For the first time since she'd been living with us, I saw her tears. When can we start? Right now. I gave her the cassette and tape player, showed her how to use it. Just talk to him, like you always have. Emma took the cassette player, sat on the bed, pressed the record button. Hi, Daniel, she said quietly. It's me, Emma, your sister. Her voice trembled. I miss you very much. Every minute, every second. Pause. Today I'll start reading you a new book about a boy named Matilda. No, sorry. Matilda is a girl, and the book is about magic. I quietly left the room, left her alone with the cassette player and her words for her brother. The next day, I drove to Northside with Emma's cassette. Daniel was waiting for me by the entrance. Must have been waiting all day. When he saw me, he ran so fast he almost fell. "Did you bring it? Did you bring Emma's voice?" "I brought it," I said, taking out the cassette. We went to his room. I put the cassette in the tape recorder. Daniel sat next to me, eyes wide open. He nodded so energetically his glasses almost fell off. I pressed play. "Hi, Daniel. It's me, Emma, your sister." Daniel froze. His lips trembled. He was hearing his sister's voice for the first time in 3 weeks. "I miss you very much. Every minute, every second." Tears rolled down his cheeks. "Today I'll start reading you a new book." He listened without moving. 40 minutes, the whole cassette. Emma read, told about her day, remembered their shared memories. "You remember how we hid under the bed when there was thunder? You said thunder was giants playing bowling." Daniel laughed through his tears. "I still carry your car in my backpack. The red one. The one you gave me before we were separated." When the cassette ended, Daniel sat quietly for several minutes. "Can I listen again?" he asked. Of course. He listened to the cassette 3 times in a row and then asked for the tape recorder. "I want to say something to Emma." I showed him how to record. He took the microphone in his small hands. "Emma," he began, and his voice trembled. "It's me, Daniel, your little brother." Pause. "I miss you too. Very, very much. I cry every night." He wiped his nose with his sleeve. "But now I won't cry, because I hear your voice and I know you remember me." Long pause. "I saved the most beautiful stone for you. Shiny, like your eyes when you laugh." Another pause. "Emma, do you remember the song Mom used to sing? About the stars? Can you sing it on the next cassette?" He recorded for 20 minutes. Told about his day, about other children, about what he ate for lunch, about everything he wanted to tell his sister. That evening, I brought the cassette to Emma. She listened, sitting on the bed, hugging a pillow, crying and laughing at the same time. "He remembers that song," she said when the cassette ended. "Mom always sang it to us at bedtime." "Will you sing it for him?" "Yes, I'll definitely sing it." And so it began. Every day, I drove between 2 group homes, carried cassettes, carried voices, carried love between brother and sister. Emma recorded long stories, read books chapter by chapter, sang songs, told about school, about other children, about me. "Mr. Harris is very kind," she said on one of the cassettes. "He carries our voices to each other, like a mailman, but for hearts." Daniel recorded shorter messages, but so sincere it was hard to listen without tears. "Emma, I drew us a new house with 2 rooms, one for you, one for me, and a big kitchen where we'll have breakfast together." A week later, Marion called me. "I don't know what you did," she said, "but Daniel has changed. He smiles, talks to other children, even eats better, and in the evenings he listens to cassettes and falls asleep with a smile. I felt my heart warming. And crying? Sometimes. But it's different crying. Not from loneliness, from feeling love. The Cassettes continued traveling between us for 3 months. Every day, back and forth. Voices, laughter, tears, hopes. Emma started eating better, started talking to other children, even became friends with Jessica, her roommate. Daniel changed too. Marion said he became a leader among the younger children, helped them when they cried, told them, "My sister says tears are normal, but you have to laugh too." And then, in March, a miracle happened. Lisa, Emma's social worker, called. "Mr. Harris, I have news," she said. "We found a foster family for both children." I almost dropped the phone. For both? The Johnson family. They want to take Emma and Daniel together, forever. I sat in my chair, felt like I'd won the lottery. When? Next week. I told Emma that evening. She didn't believe it at first. Really? We'll be together? Really? She cried, but these were the happiest tears I'd ever seen. What about the Cassettes? You won't need Cassettes anymore. You'll be able to talk to him every day, in person. The last cassette Emma recorded was special. "Daniel," she said, "I have the best news in the world. We'll be together soon, forever." Pause. "I won't read to you through the tape recorder anymore. I'll read to you in our new room every night." Mr. Harris says the foster parents are very kind, that they have a big house, and that you'll have your own room. But if you want, you can sleep in mine, like before. Her voice trembled with happiness. "We'll be a family again, Daniel. A real family." When they were moving, Emma came to me. "Mr. Harris," she said, "thank you for carrying our hearts to each other." She hugged me, tightly, for a long time. "I'll never forget," she whispered. Daniel hugged me too, took a small stone from his pocket. "This is for you," he said. "The most beautiful from my collection." I still keep that stone on my desk. 5 years have passed. Emma is in college now, studying education, wants to work with children. Daniel is in 7th grade, passionate about mathematics, the same mathematics he used to dislike. They write me letters. Not often, but they write. In the last letter, Emma wrote, "Mr. Harris, we still read to each other at night. Daniel says my voice is his best dreams." I often think about that story, about how love knows no distances, about how a voice can be a bridge between hearts. Sometimes love is just a cassette traveling between 2 houses. Sometimes love is a 12-year-old girl reading in the darkness. Sometimes love is an 8-year-old boy collecting stones for his sister. And sometimes love is an old man with a tape recorder who understands that the best bridges aren't built from stone. They're built from voices, from caring, from believing that family isn't just those who are near. Family is those who are always in your heart, even when they're not nearby, even when there are 10 miles of darkness between you. Even then. Mr. Harris falls silent, looks at the stone on his desk, smiles through tears. Thank you for listening. This is one of those stories that make life meaningful. Good night.